Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. So, in the last video I left you with a decision. Was I keeping or was I going to move Ed on? I'm not giving up on him that easy. I've decided I'm going to dig a bit deeper, see how far back the rust goes, see how much work it's going to involve, and see how much time and money it's going to cost me. The only way I'll find out this is by getting my hands dirty, getting in and doing what I usually do. So, some of it has been good that I found, some of it has been bad. What I'm going to do on this video and the next following video is I'll jump in and out, I'll show some time lapses, and I'll basically show you what I discover as I'm going. I'm not going to cover it in the normal restoration detail because I want this car finished and back on the road, all going well for the spring. What I'm doing here is removing the outer sill. Basically involves with the angle grinder going along, cutting along just below the seam where the rear quarter panel and the doorstep is. I wasn't as concerned about how neat it was cutting it off because I knew I've got the doorstep there to replace in the future, so I just basically needed this off along the seams on the top. The bottom it's spot welded to the floor, and there's obviously various brackets attaching to the cross member, floor and outer sill. So yeah, I just basically wanted to cut around that, get in and see what it looked like underneath. And I have to say, using the ramps and adjusting the height made it so much easier than lying on your back looking up with grinding sparks coming down on you. If you've not seen that already, I do review these ramps in a previous video, so go back and check that one out. But yeah, so much more access and made it a lot easier when doing this and future repairs. So, this will be the same video for you guys, but for me it's 3 months later than what I last filmed. I've been really ill, so I've been unable to do pretty much anything, never mind be in the garage. So the last couple of days I've got back out here. I'm feeling a lot better, just not fully 100%, so it'll just take time, but I can get on with Ed because we're now into January and I want to get him ready to get an MOT, to get him back on the road for March. So I'll just jump in where I left off and what I've done the last couple of days to show you what I've been doing off camera. So, with the soundproofing removed, so hole here, hole here, hole here, underneath, hole here, and a hole here. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 patches that would require. Excuse me while I get the like that. And the previous patches that are there, so 1 and 2. So yeah, that's 7 patches, and that's just too much for me. So I needed to remove this soundproofing because it's horrible stuff. It catches fire when you're welding, and I needed to see what state the floor was in, purely because there's a bit of surface rust here. But that's all it is, surface rust. So from here that way the floor is solid except for this slight bit here, and that's basically my fault because when I was removing the soundproofing the chisel went through it. But this part here underneath, remember this is for the SPI fuel system, houses these fuel pipes. So I'm going to see how much slack I have in them by taking these clips off, because obviously when I'm cutting I don't want to cut through a fuel pipe, and when I'm welding I'll need to have them covered as well. So yeah, these clips, 1,
2, 3. I'm just going to hopefully get these off and see how much flexibility I've got. There won't be much, but hopefully enough to get something underneath to protect the pipes from the angle grinder. But under here as well, albeit there's under seal, you can see it's in really good condition. I say that, I find rust in here, so I might need to investigate that a bit further underneath. Okay, so because I found that bit of surface rust, I decided to do a bit of digging, which involved taking the exhaust off, the heat shield above it, just so I could get access. So, the bits of surface rust are isolated to here. So this is the screw that comes down and attaches the heat shield onto it. It was quite corroded round about here. Like I say, it's solid, it doesn't go through, but I then looked at the one at the rear, because there's 6 of these, and you can see it just starting to go there. Again, it's solid and it will clean back. I've not done the rest. This is how they were before I've touched them, but you can see that's where the rust is going to then spread in there. So from there I decided to have a look inside. Gives me a lot more access along there on the underside. I'll jump on the big Karma just now and I'll show you what I've done to the upper side. Onto the top, to get better access, I've taken the seat locking rail out. I've taken the seatbelt out, which means I can then get the carpet pushed further over. I'm not going to take any more out just now unless I need to go a bit further. But what I need to do, I need to have a look at these bolts or screws to see if they can be replaced, and these are under the sound den in here that I couldn't get into before. So my next step up here is just going to be getting them with the hammer and chisel again and getting this off. It shouldn't take long, 5-10 minutes, and that'll give me a better look closer under here. So I've taken some of the stuff off, I'm working my way back, but as you can see what looked okay from underneath, yeah, there you go, there's that hole from above. So I'm going to take the rest off, see what else is here. I'll then assess this, and I'll need to make a decision. I've got the full floor there. Do I just go to the full floor? I'll make a decision once I've done this. But this is all because there was a screw going down that attaches the exhaust heat shield on. It's obviously got water, it's leaked through, and it's, yeah, just there. So I'm going to take all this off and see what the other points are like. But it was worth the extra time. I actually find this quite therapeutic. It's quite cold. It's January in Scotland, so this comes off quite easy in the cold. It just chips away. Whereas if it's warm, it can be sticky and gooey. Yeah, quite therapeutic. Quite therapeutic. So yeah, I'm not going to show you that on camera. I'm going to go on, get rid of all this. We'll come back and we'll see if it's just this hole, or if it's going to be worse. But yeah, I would be pretty disappointed if I'd replaced this part here to find 6, 12 months, 2 years down the road, I then have to replace bits of this because of this. And had I not looked at this, this is all hidden underneath, it would have crept up and the hole would have got bigger. So yeah, classic minis. Let's see what else I find on my investigations. So the rest of the sound deadening is off. We knew about this hole. Similar story at the back with the other heat shield mounting point. The other mounting point is underneath the cross member, so I can't get to it. So yeah. Now had it been just this or just this, probably similar to the drain plugs, I could probably fill it. But the fact that it's underneath here, I'm going to need to reassess, because the plan at the start of this was just, as I said, to take the outside of this off. But now I have to kind of think, am I just going to put the full half floor in, which then involves going into the tunnel. It then involves unbolting some of the gear linkage support and and the seatbelt mounting brackets underneath, so it kind of gets bigger and bigger. I think I'm going to have to take some of the other side out as well, but I'm going to need to have a wee think and decide what I'm doing. Now, the reason I'm kind of going through this like this is because I'm trying to highlight, doing these restorations, things can change as you're going. I could have just came in and says, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do a full floor, but it kind of shows more of how involved it is, because I didn't plan to do a whole floor, albeit I bought the floor. And as you're going and checking things, all it takes is for one slight bit of surface rust underneath the car to then basically dictate, oh, I'll take that off, I'll have a look, and then before you know it, you've got 3 more holes and it changes the whole situation. So it's just to get a bit of awareness of how these things can escalate and spiral, which anyone that does all of this stuff on their own will know anyway. But I like to kind of keep it as it's going. So yeah, I'm finishing up for today anyway. I need to have a think and have a plan, because if I'm replacing some of this stuff, I'm going to have to get a few more other things to go with it as well. It involves taking more of the floor off at the heel board, more of the floor off at the cross member and at the front. So yeah, it's a bit more work, it's a lot more work, but yeah, that's what you buy into when you do these cars. So I'm going to end that one there. I'll say thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.